Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, part 13. Hundreds of thousands of bodies have either been lost or buried at sea, so every time you swim in the ocean, you're basically bathing in a graveyard. Chainsaws were originally invented for childbirth. Female mummies in ancient Egypt were always decomposed more than the male ones, and this is because the male bodies were embalmed a lot sooner while the female bodies were kept at the family home until they started to decompose a little bit. And this was to prevent people from having sex with the dead female bodies. Vlad the Impaler was called this because he would place his enemies ass first on pointed poles that would slowly skewer them to death. Fatal familial insomnia is a disease where a person literally cannot go to sleep no matter what they take or what they do. The symptoms get progressively worse until they die of exhaustion. And for the last one, you might want to look up who invented blow-up dolls.
Major warning, if you have vivid dreams or nightmares, you're gonna need to hear this. This isn't just about bad sleep. There is a lot of research that's been done recently showing that people who experience intense, vivid dreams or often nightmares show higher levels of dissociation, meaning the line between what's real and what's not can actually start to blur. There was some research that was done recently conducted on a number of different patients. Some people who frequently dream, people who experience dissociation, and people who don't really dream that much. Now, it showed that people who have vivid dreams often report feeling detached in real life a lot of the time. Like things don't truly feel real. You may have had that before, dissociation. Almost like you're watching your own life happen, or like things just feel weird. I've had it before. Now, there's also a link to something called skitopsy. Not schizophrenia, but it's called schizotyphy, which basically is an unusual pattern of thinking. You can see connections that aren't really there or feel like something is off with reality, like just feels a bit odd. And here's the part that's really weird that they linked between these people. When you are having super vivid, almost lucid dreams that feel extremely real, and then in your life you kind of feel a little bit detached, your brain might not be fully switching off the dream mode when you wake up, meaning parts of the dream world start linking into your real life, literally like Inception, where a dream feels so real it's real and then you can't tell what's real and fake, blah blah blah. So what the researchers are now asking is a bigger question: are vivid dreams actually healthy and just random dreams, or are they a sign of something more and that your brain is actually processing reality?
Facts that will definitely make your skin crawl, part 2. There is more of a chance of you finding a dead body underneath your bed than actually finding it in the garbage. If you ever plug your nose during a sneeze, you can actually rupture a blood vessel in your neck or your brain and it'll cause you to bleed to death. The electric chair was actually invented by a dentist. If a black cat looks at you and runs, it usually means something is about to happen to you, usually being pretty bad.
Here are some deeply terrifying facts. The human eye evolved specifically to detect eyes watching us, so if you ever feel like you're being watched, it's because that instinct has saved lives. If you are ever to be murdered, the most effective way of disposing of your body is to feed it to pigs, because pigs will eat anything and everything. They make sure that there's no traces of your body left. Many people vanish this way. There are people alive right now that will never ever be found. Thousands of people vanish every year without a trace. No body, no clues, no explanation. If you ever get murdered in the US, there is a 1 in 3 chance that your murder will never ever be discovered or caught. Some murders will never be discovered, not unsolved, undetected. No investigations, no missing persons, nothing. At some point in your life, you will have likely walked past either a murderer or someone capable of extreme violence, and there's a very bigger chance that you've walked past people who are seconds away from violence. Your death could be completely unnoticed, even during the day, even in urban areas, even in your bed, or even in a public place. Modern life hides death very well, often in silence.
Should we really eradicate all mosquitoes? Well, the answer to that question is no, we shouldn't. While these are the deadliest creatures on Earth, killing hundreds of thousands of women, children and men from the deadly diseases they spread, unfortunately these blood-sucking creatures serve a purpose. From things like pollinating plants, to acting as a food source for many species. And out of 3,000 species, only a couple dozen actually bite, so killing them would be pointless. And who knows the damage we could cause to our planet.
But the real disturbing thing that's going on is that apparently they are taking traumatized and orphaned children to use for child trafficking.
I don't know why we're not talking about this more. This has been going on for a long time. Evil people will use these tragic catastrophes as an easy opportunity to take children and traffic them. I truly don't think most people realize how many lives these earthquakes have affected. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people, and within that number, there's thousands of children who lost their parents. There are reports coming out of Venezuela right now where locals are noticing children being rescued and then just taken by random people. Where are these kids going? Who's protecting them? Because when no one is looking for a child, it's not hard to make them disappear. Even if these children end up in orphanages, they're still not safe. Do you know how much trafficking and abuse happens inside these systems? It's well documented throughout history, but that's another conversation. People need to understand that evil like this exists and that these systems a lot of times do not protect children. It's devastating, it's disgusting.
This is why you should be scared of that one person you're talking to online that you're about to meet in real life. Blanca Arellano, a 51-year-old Mexican woman, was looking for love. She met a Peruvian man named Juan Villafuerte on an online gaming app, and on the last day of October, she traveled 3,000 miles to Lima, Peru to meet him. She thought that he could be the one. On November 7th, while in the beach city of Huacho, where Villafuerte lived, Blanca spoke to her niece on the phone and told her that the relationship was going well and that she was in love. Then, she went silent. Her niece suspected something was wrong after not being able to get into contact with her. She called for help on Twitter and reached out to Juan Villafuerte, who said that Blanca got bored of him and left to find a plane ticket back to Mexico, as he could not provide the life she wanted. But the truth was much, much darker. On November 10th, Peruvian authorities found a severed finger on the beach of Huacho. Then in the following days, they found a faceless head, and then an arm, and then a torso with no organs inside of it. They eventually identified Blanca Arellano via her family by the ring on her finger. Juan Villafuerte was arrested on charges of human organs trafficking. Authorities found traces of blood all over his apartment, and he reportedly posted TikTok videos of human organs.
Bone-chilling facts that will keep you up at night. Number 1, coffee. For years, scientists have speculated that coffee can indeed keep you up at night, and recently, it has been proven. Number 2, global warming. Number 3, in the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians, Germany
You will not sleep after hearing this spine-chilling fact. This is a fat fucking goldfish.
What would you do if you saw a man wandering around eating a severed human leg? It was the 22nd of March 2024 in Kern County, California. At roughly 8 a.m. that day, a member of the public was tragically hit by an oncoming train. This was at the Amtrak train station in Wasco. The incident itself was obviously shocking enough, with a pedestrian losing their life after being hit by the train. However, things would then take an even darker turn than anyone could imagine. The force of the train hitting the individual is said to have been so severe that it severed their leg. A 27-year-old man named Rosendo Tellez then allegedly removed the leg from the scene. Eyewitnesses reported seeing him wandering around the local area after the incident, carrying the leg. Witnesses saw him carrying the severed leg around, biting it and shockingly eating it. A horrific video of the incident has been circulating on social media. Thankfully, the man was tracked down and was arrested on charges of removal of human remains from other than a cemetery. He was also charged with violating his probation. He is scheduled.
So everybody's scared of something, but I'm going to prove to you that you're not actually scared of what you think you are. I'm going to tell you the reality behind your fears. For example, some people are scared of heights, but they're actually not scared of being up high. In reality, they're actually scared of falling. Some other people are scared of flying, but in reality, they're not scared of the flying part. They're actually scared of what could happen to you while you're up there. And finally, I know everyone has this fear. A lot of us say we're scared of the dark, but in reality we're actually scared about the unknown and what could be in the dark.
On today's episode of Name That Epstein Associate, we have this guy. Now, I've done a ton of videos in the past about Epstein, and I've seen this guy's face so many times. You can see Epstein seated literally right next to him in this photograph, but nobody knew who he was. Well, that is until yesterday. The person in that photo who you can see behind Bill Clinton's shoulder is Rick Ferguson. And who is Rick Ferguson exactly? Well, he was at one point Bill Clinton's personal bodyguard. So now that he's been identified, people have been looking into all of Rick's connections. Obviously, like I just said, there are a ton of images and documents linking Rick to Bill Clinton. And I once again just find this whole thing interesting. The Clintons, for their part, have actually testified. They've claimed that they had no association with Epstein whatsoever. We know that that is a bold-faced lie. Not only are the Clintons all over the Epstein files themselves, but there are a ton of different people in Bill Clinton's presidential or personal orbit that were also tangled up in the files. Former associates, White House aides, lots of people in Bill Clinton's world were also in Epstein's world. And this is just another confirmation of all of that information, with Rick Ferguson being identified. This guy's literally Clinton's bodyguard, and here he is seated directly next to Jeffrey Epstein. So it's just another data point in a gigantic web connecting Bill Clinton to Jeffrey Epstein. And if this doesn't make you angry, I don't know what will. Because at this point, so many of these people are being identified not by the authorities, but by people online. And it just goes to show, I mean, nobody's ever interviewed this guy to ask him what he knows about Jeffrey Epstein's operation. But it seems like he'd be a prime candidate since he's closely associated with the former United States president being his bodyguard. And he's also seated right here next to one of the most powerful people on earth, Jeffrey Epstein, and also one of the most infamous sex traffickers of all time. I don't know when the actual investigation will begin, if it ever will, but it's people like this that I believe should be immediately interviewed, and it's people like this that give us a look behind the curtain into the Epstein operation, and especially when it comes to the relationship between Epstein and Bill Clinton. Because not only were Epstein and Clinton very good friends, but we can see here this is just another person in Epstein's world that was also in Clinton's world. But this guy has escaped scrutiny so far. Haven't seen him brought up really ever. I didn't even know his identity. Now that I do, though, it makes the whole thing a little bit more suspicious, if that's even possible. I think it's the most maximum amount of suspicious, the entire Epstein ordeal, that it could possibly be right now. But I'm going to continue covering the files, so follow along for more updates.
Hi. Gracie Watson was born in 1883. Gracie's parents ran the Pulaski Hotel. Gracie was a very extroverted and happy child. Everybody, including the hotel guests, loved her. Sadly, she passed away at the age of 6 years old due to pneumonia. Her grave is marked by a life-size statue with its hand resting on a tree stump to symbolize her life being cut short. After her death, her mother and the Pulaski Hotel staff claimed that they could still hear her laughing and playing in the hotel, as well as sometimes feeling like somebody was pulling on their clothes, and they believe that this was Gracie. Sadly, since then the Pulaski Hotel has been torn down, so you can't visit it anymore, but you can visit Gracie's grave in the Bonaventure Cemetery in Savannah, Georgia. Many visitors like to leave little gifts for Gracie, like toys, candy, things like that, and some have reported seeing Gracie's spirit around this area. There's also a rumor that if you remove one of Gracie's gifts...
Darkest Urban Legends Ever Told Part 1, The Smiling Man. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, if I ever saw this guy walking towards me at night, I'm running the other way. The story itself blew up in 2012, with a man from Seattle posting online about one of the encounters that he had with the Smiling Man on one of his casual late-night walks. He said he saw a tall figure standing under the streetlights wearing an old suit, but the old suit wasn't the scariest part, it was the massive smile on the man's face. It never moved. But what makes it worse is the second he looked away from the man, somehow he was closer. But it wasn't like the guy was walking towards him, he was doing an extremely weird dance towards him, with unnatural movements and never breaking eye contact. Now, me personally, I say I would run, but I don't know if I'd be able to get far enough from this weird, jerky dancing guy down the street. And honestly, it's another reason on why you don't go out in the middle of the night. After this, the man ran home, locked his door, and posted about this whole encounter, but then deleted his account as soon as he posted this, and never explained why. But here's what's weirder. People started connecting his story to another urban legend, about another grinning figure known as Ingrid Cold, spotted in West Virginia in 1966, right before the Mothman sighting started. Now, whether the story is real or not, we don't know. But what we do know is it's probably one of the most unsettling stories because it could happen to you at any point in time. You could decide to go for a late night walk as soon as you're done eating dinner. It's not super dark, but it's decently dark out. And all of a sudden, there's a creepy guy with a grin wearing a suit down the street, and bro starts dancing towards you. I'm good on that. Don't forget to like and follow for more, and comment down below what urban legend I should cover next.
This is the scary truth about Disney. There is a secret about Disneyland that the company does not want you to know. If you rode the Pirates of the Caribbean ride back in the 1960s, you would be impressed by how realistic the skeletons look. That's because when this ride opened at Disneyland, all of the skeletons on the attraction were actually real. They tried to install fake skeletons, but Walt Disney thought they looked too fake. So instead, they worked with the medical center at UCLA to get their hands on the real thing. Today, Disneyland says there is no more human remains on the ride, but some people are unconvinced. The bedchamber skull right here seems to have the most speculation. Insiders confirmed that it was in fact real, and others have said that this skull in particular was donated by a former employee.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. Episode 20. Number 1. Coffin births. This is a rare phenomenon that is scientifically known as post-mortem fetal extrusion. It occurs when a pregnant woman dies and her body expels the fetus. The gases in the abdomen builds up and then forces the stillborn fetus out. Number 2. Jeannie, the feral child. Discovered in 1970, Jeannie was a girl who had been kept isolated by her family in Los Angeles for over a decade. She was almost entirely mute and had barely any exposure to human interaction or the outside world. Number 3. The Green Children of Woolpit. In the 12th century, 2 children with green-tinted skin appeared in the village of Woolpit in England. They spoke an unknown language and only ate raw beans. Eventually, their skin lost its green color and they adapted to normal food. The origin of these children still remains a mystery. Number 4. The Hinterkaifeck murders. In 1922, an entire family was mysteriously murdered at their farm in Germany. Reports found footsteps leading to their farm, but not away. This case was never solved. Number 5. The Gimpy plant, also known as the plant. It's only found in Australia. This plant's sting is so painful that its neurotoxins cause too much pain. It drives people and animals to unalive themselves. Number 6. The Devil's Kettle. In Minnesota, United States, there is a waterfall that splits into 2. One side flowing into a river and the other side vanishing into a hole. Scientists still don't know where that water goes. Number 7. NASA would never release information about asteroids approaching Earth. Not because they're worried about us freaking out. It's because we don't have the technology to detect if there are asteroids coming from very far away. Number 8. Human extinction. This is linked to number 7. We can't really confirm if any asteroids are coming to hit us because in 2017 an asteroid named AG-13 was about to hit Earth with less than the distance of the moon. The asteroid flew so fast, scientists were only able to see it 48 hours before it could have hit Earth. This is real information. Let me know if you
Billie Eilish was born on December 8th in 2001, and she first got really noticed when she released her song Ocean Eyes on SoundCloud.com. She's the only singer to be born in the 2000s to have a #1 single on Billboard, and the youngest woman in
rarest albino animals in the world. Number 7, the albino alligator. Number 6, Megaloo the whale. 5, the albino ostrich. 4, the golden white zebra. 3, the ghost lobster. 2, the albino giraffe. Number 1, snowflake.
Hey, give me your bag. Oh, I've never met a robber before. Wait, that is so cool. I want to get to know you. Tell me your story. Why'd you become a thief? Give me that. Honestly, just have it. The loss just means a better opportunity is right around the corner. Yeah. Abundance, abundance, abundance. Oh, no! Oh. Oh my gosh, you're making me blush. Stop! You're hot. Business is business. After 1 second. I filed a police report 30 seconds ago. Don't drop the soap. Or do, if that's what you're into. Anyway. No, no, no. No takey. Mommy having mommy time. Bad man go therapy and become good man. Good man. Hey, are you okay? Don't steal other people's belongings, you hear me? Give me your hand. Now dust yourself off and do good in this world. Okay? Oh great, another man that wants to be the princess, clearly. Should we braid each other's hair and get our nails done too? Go be a real man or something, go lift some weights. Do you really think I don't know you were following me? No. No. Walk along. Wrong person. This is so dramatic. Stop. Everyone is looking at me. Stop, please. They're perceiving habit. Oh my gosh, I can't. Ugh, as if. I would never. Don't ever touch me with your low vibrational.
Crazy true story about the man that's been standing on one leg for 15 years. This man is called a standing Baba and he has vowed to not sit or lay down even to sleep. These men perform self-inflicted corporal punishment to help bring forth their spiritual enlightenment. The men have a swing-like device that holds their foot during the day and allows them to bend over and sleep at night. Standing like this for years causes swollen legs and ulcerated feet. The men describe it as very painful and permanently disabling.
When and where are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting married? Well, we have some updates. So if you guys remember a little while back, it was rumored that Taylor and Travis were going to get married in Rhode Island, that they wanted to get married on June 13th because 13 is Taylor's number, and that there was another bride who booked the venue on the same date and that Taylor was trying to buy her out of it. It made headlines and then it kind of just went away. Well, there have been some murmurs about the latest details of the big wedding. So for a couple of weeks now, there have been rumors that Taylor and Travis would be getting married at Madison Square Garden, with TMZ reporting that a massive stage is being built in Pennsylvania for the wedding, assuming that it would be transported over when they're ready to use it. There are reports that are also saying, if this is true, the wedding at MSG would match the scale of the Eras Tour, with design elements potentially including an enchanted garden. And now, this rumor is sounding more likely, as it was reported that the fireworks company that was handling the fireworks for Taylor's wedding at the party in Rhode Island said that the Rhode Island wedding celebration was canceled and moved to New York after word got out about the venue. I truly don't know how much of this is true because MSG doesn't really feel like a very romantic place to get married in, but hey, it is not my wedding. I also feel like Taylor is too calculated and methodical to let all of this get out so easily. What do you guys think? Do you think Taylor and Travis are getting married at MSG? And if you like this video, make sure to follow me to stay up to date on all things pop culture.
This is why you should never dye your hair. Tabitha was a 17-year-old girl that would continuously dye her hair all the time. One night, she was hanging out with her best friend who decided they would dye their hair together. Approximately 20 minutes after she put the dye in her hair, she got up and went to the bathroom. She began pulling at her hair, screaming and vomiting before collapsing in agony on her friend's floor. Medics rushed her to the hospital where she unfortunately died due to an allergic reaction.
Those are actual vampire bats, and they're one of the most unique creatures on planet Earth. As you can probably guess, they drink blood. It's the only mammal in the world that lives solely off of blood. But it's how they find the blood that's the crazy part. First off, they could use echolocation, like every other bat. But they also have another unique sense, infrared smelling. That means they could smell heat, which is how they find their prey. They sniff out the warm blood. And once they have their target, they find the part of the body with the most blood flow. Because, again, they could sniff that out. And then they insert a bite with those razor-sharp teeth. And they mix their saliva into the wound, which their saliva contains a protein called draculin. And this draculin prevents the wound from healing and thins out the blood, so the blood pours out faster. That way, Dracula over here ends with a nice full belly. I don't like it. Moral of the story, if anybody ever tells you that vampires aren't real, show them this video. And as always, follow for more facts.
Imagine traveling to a new country for work just to watch all of your coworkers disappear one by one, with no understanding of who or what is responsible. In 1898, the British wanted to build a railway bridge over the Tsavo River in Kenya, but they couldn't get enough native Africans to do the construction for them. So they instead imported several thousand workers from India, who were totally unfamiliar with the region and the potential dangers that awaited them. The construction site hosted several camps that spread across an 8-mile stretch of land where the men would sleep in tents until the project was finished. And once construction began, the first few days went just as planned. But then, one by one, the men began disappearing from their tents in the middle of the night. They didn't know it yet, but they were being stalked by 2 maneless male lions, who together teamed up to drag the men from their tents as they slept and devour them. Other workers would wake up to the sounds of screaming and ferocious growling as their bunkmates were dragged from their beds and taken into the dark to be eaten alive. The mutilated victims would usually be discovered the next day. One report states that one of their strongest workers who had fallen ill was dragged out of his tent like a rag doll. The next morning, when they found him, they thought he may still be alive because he appeared to be smiling. But as they got closer, they realized that not only was he lifeless, but the lions had licked most of the skin off from his cheeks, giving him the appearance of a big, happy smile. 9 months went by, and according to the project leader, a man named John Henry Patterson, 135 men had been killed by this pair of lions. Patterson also claimed to have stumbled upon a cave believed to have been the lions' lair, where he discovered dozens of human remains. The lions, in turn, were hunted down and killed by him.
This is the only way to survive if you're in a plane crash. Phase 1. Once you notice the plane is coming down, the air hostesses and staff will say brace, brace, brace. And you may have noticed people to do this position, but do not do this. Because what actually happens when you put your hands over your head is it snaps your neck. The reason they do this is for a quicker death, so they have less medical insurance bills on their hands. What you should do is lean down with your hands under the seat or on the seat in front. Now once you've crashed, what do? Phase 2. If you're at the back of the plane, you have a 69% chance of survival. Middle, 59, front, 49. If the plane crashes into the sea, then you should get out as quickly as you possibly can. Stay afloat and keep yourself warm. If the plane crashes onto land, then it's more than likely going to be smoking and on fire. What you want to do is keep your head down and cover your mouth so you don't breathe in too much CO or CO2. Then get out and run as far as you can and take cover, because the plane is more than likely going to explode. Therefore, shrapnel could go everywhere and kill you.
Jeffrey Epstein and tech overlord Peter Thiel forming a secret society? This might sound insane, but hear me out here. So this is Peter Thiel, if you don't know him, from the company Palantir, amongst other companies. And people nowadays really dislike Peter Thiel because he's helping to implement a surveillance state here in America. And honestly, he's just a very evil, very dangerous dude. Now, interestingly, documents recently leaked that showed Peter Thiel had his own secret society that included people like Joseph Gordon-Levitt and other world leaders. And as you can see here, there was a retreat for the secret society that had panels on how to build cults and sex and preparing for World War III. I mean, it's a totally bizarre story. But Peter Thiel actually pops up in the Epstein files talking multiple times about a secret society, and it makes me wonder if Epstein was ever associated with this group. You can see here, 2016, Epstein invites Peter Thiel to a weekend filled with interesting politics at my house. They kind of talk about who's going to be there, if Peter can come. And then at the very top here, Peter says, "I'm kind of obsessed with politics this year, Russian European always interesting," stating that he finds Russian European people to be interesting. And Epstein up top says, "I'm certain the group can keep you entertained." Now, we already know that Epstein and Thiel had a documented relationship. They were buddies. They had their hands in the same businesses and the same companies. But it gets even weirder when you take a look at this email that Epstein sent to a man named Joi Ito back in 2016. Joi Ito is a Japanese entrepreneur. He actually taught for a time at Harvard. But as you can see here, Epstein emails Joi and says, Peter Thiel loved, all caps, the secret society idea. He has done a lot of work on the concept. So, does this mean that Epstein was at some point involved in Peter Thiel's Dialogue Society, the secret society that was recently exposed in that bombshell reporting? We know that this society goes back to at least 2014. I'm sure that it goes back further than that. And this email was sent in 2016. So I find this to be a bit too on the nose to not be connected. I mean, you have Epstein here talking about Peter Thiel loving secret societies, and then we find out that at the time that that was written, Peter Thiel actually did have a kind of pseudo secret society for the ultra rich, powerful, and wealthy. I'm sure that there are so many more secrets that we don't know about, but we have to keep pressuring public officials to continue releasing files and to continue at least investigating. I mean, at this point, the US government, the DOJ, the FBI, the official stance is that Epstein still never trafficked a single person, and I find that to be a disgusting mentality and a slap in the face to all survivors of Epstein. But follow along, I'm going to keep talking about this stuff every
What would happen if you responded to a mimic? Now, when we hear about these encounters with mimics, there is often this invitation to let them in, to open the door, or to follow. But what would happen if you actually did? Now, there was this girl named Jill from South Carolina. She was driving home one night at 1 a.m., coming back from work. When she goes inside her house, all the lights are off. Her mom is upstairs asleep. Well, as she walks through the living room, she hears her mother's voice say, "Hello, Jill." She goes, "Mom, why are you up so late?" And all she hears is, "Hello, Jill." She goes, "Okay, Mom, like, why is all the lights off and why are you in the kitchen?" And she just responds, "Hello, Jill." So she was kind of freaked out. I was like, okay, is something wrong with my mom? She flips the lights on and there's no one there. And as she goes upstairs to her mom's bedroom, she sees that her door is closed. When she opens it, she sees that her mom is in bed, sound asleep. So she starts trying to rationalize, okay, maybe my mom was talking in her sleep. So she just ignores it. Well, a couple days later, she said she was sitting in her bed, in her bedroom, when she sees her mom walk by. And she says, "Hey, Mom, can you go downstairs and grab me a bag of chips?" But her mom doesn't respond. So she goes to the door, she looks out the hallway. Her mom is not there. She is not even at the house. A few days after this, she is once again in her bedroom. And she hears her mom calling for her, telling her to come downstairs. So she gets ready to go down to the hallway and she remembers, wait a second, my mom is not home. So she stays in her bedroom until her mom gets there. And finally, a couple days after this, she is coming home from a friend's house. And as she gets out of her car, she notices her mom is standing on the sides of the house with her face turned. She goes, "Mom, are you okay? Like, what are you doing outside?" And she hears, "Hello, Jill." She's like, "Mom?" And she's like, "Come with me into the woods." And she's like, what do you mean?" And she goes, "Come with me in the backyard to the woods." And she's kind of like, that's not my mom. She runs inside the house. She closes the door and she sees her mom is there in the kitchen. So she goes to her mom and she starts crying and she says, "There's something that's following me and it's pretending to be you." And her mom's just telling her, like, "Honey, it's okay. Like, there's nothing going on. Like, you're just stressing yourself out. It'll be okay." But she was insistent, "Mom, something is pretending to be you." Well, many months pass and she stops having these encounters. But then one night she gets a call from her mom. And her mom is like, "Hey, honey, I heard you calling me to go down into the basement, but I'm in the bathroom right now. I'll be down, in like 10 minutes. And she's like, "No, Mom, do not go down there. Do not go into the basement. That is not me. I am not at home." And her mom's like, "What are you talking about? Like, are you playing jokes with me?" And she's like, "No, Mom, I am not home." And her mom didn't believe her. She thought she was making it up. Well, a week later, she finds that her mother passed away. And she felt like whatever was pretending to be her mother and then pretended to be her had something to do with it. And did her mom respond to this mimic?